Alright, what's up everybody? This is Zacharias. We are back with more of Avadon 3, the Warborn. Well, this is it everybody. It looks like we are in the final endgame segment. I took all of my companions except for Rudel with me, which is unfortunate, but then again, I don't think I would have been able to convince him since I didn't fulfill what he wanted in his character arc, but the others I did. So, that's exactly what I did do. You hurry down the hall trying to keep up with Redbeard. These familiar halls are far more quiet and tense than they were last time you were here. The guards are confused and scared. Most of the hearts and other officials are gone. Redbeard seems to know what he is doing, though. He says, "First, I reclaim my tower, then the main floor. Come." He walks off to the west. As Redbeard walks down the hall, everyone scurries out of his way. In his restored, energetic form, he terrifies everyone he sees. Then he reaches the stairway up to his tower. There, he meets one woman who won't step aside. Hart Callan is there, waiting for him. She is one of the most respected people in the Black Fortress. She served Redbeard as a loyal hand for many years. Now she acted as Hart for Protus. Now she is, as always, ready to die doing her duty. When you arrive, Redbeard is glowering down at her. She isn't intimidated. She's a true believer in the law. "Redbeard, you shouldn't have come here. Just so you're not, you have been replaced. You have no right to come here and spill blood." You quietly inch up behind Redbeard, ready to back him if this comes to blows. You think you detect the barest hint of a nod. He appreciates the support. Redbeard looks Callan in the eye. She doesn't turn away. Finally, he begins to speak. Redbeard talks calmly and gravely, showing more dignity than you had ever seen from him. Returning home has restored in him something that seemed lost. He says, "Callan, you know me, perhaps better than anyone living. You know I had to come here. The law of the Pact requires me to do my duty. My duty is here. Kill me if you must, but I have no choice. This is my true place." Hart Callan thinks hard about this. Everyone keeps their hands close to their blades, knowing that this could get very ugly in a moment. Callan says, "You gave your life to the Pact, Keeper. You deserve better than just being pushed aside by politics. If you were unworthy, we should have given you the swift death you deserved. I will not stop you. Protus is waiting for you. We are all waiting to see if you prove yourself worthy." Hart Callan steps aside. Redbeard says, "Thank you, Callan. You served me well, but you also served my enemy. I am concentrating on the conflict ahead. I can't decide what to do with you. Raylin, what should happen to her?" "She broke the law by supporting Protus. I say prison." Redbeard looks Callan over. Then he nods, sadly. "You have stiffened my resolve. I was weak when I needed to be strong. I am sorry, Callan. You will live, but you will have to pay for betraying me." Callan starts to respond, but she sees there is no point. Satisfied that she is keeping her head, she lets a guard take her off to the prison. Redbeard says, "She is a good worker, and she loves the Pact. In a few years, I will spare her and return her to duty. Now, upstairs, to the final conflict. I am ready." Redbeard nods. "Come on, Raylin. I count on your complete, unquestioning support. Help me, and I will reward you. Disappoint me, and I will install a new eternal prisoner, lost forever to torment in our dungeons." Then he walks upstairs, back straight, ready to face his fate. Redbeard's tower is not empty. A lot of people are waiting in this hall. Hands, eyes, and hearts, most of the highest officials of Avadon. Somehow they were informed that Redbeard was coming. They are here to greet you. Redbeard is already standing on the platform in the center of the hall, face to face with acting keeper Protus. They stare at each other silently. They are trying to act calm, but nobody is fooled. Behind Protus, you can see Envoy Diren. A representative of Hanvar's council needs to be on hand to note who will be taking control of the Black Fortress. You can quietly slip into the room so that the final meeting can begin. You walk up and take your place behind Redbeard. Someone closes the gate, seeing all participants in the hall. Protus says, "Pardon me for the gates. They will not open again until this matter is settled. Avadon and the Pact need certainty." Redbeard stays silent. Protus looks over his shoulder at Envoy Diren. Thanks to Hanvar's council for sending a witness. She will be reporting back what happens here today. Then Protus looks at you. And Raylin, I'm happy to see you again. I'm glad you could come to this important event. I have come with the true keeper. Protus seems genuinely hurt. I am surprised. Also saddened. It is not too late. If you insist on backing the wrong side, I will still make sure you are remembered as a hero. However this ends, Raylin, you served the pact very well. Redbeard stays silent. Finally, Protus grows irritated by his predecessor. He says, well, Redbeard, this whole dramatic show is because of you. You have done some good, I admit it. You have also been replaced. You need to accept it. Finally, Redbeard speaks. I am Keeper. The oath I swore and the law you follow say the same thing. I am Keeper until I die. You are a traitor, Protus. Yet, I want to show I have learned. I will do something new. I will offer mercy. Redbeard points at Protus's gold necklace. I gave you that so you could be effective in my absence. I am back. Give it to me and leave. And I swear I will pardon you for your crimes. Protus looks back at the envoy from Hanvar's council. He nods. He turns back to Redbeard. No, former keeper. Your time is done. Avadon is too strong and too wild. You are old and sick. The war is ended. We will have a new start. As Protus speaks, Redbeard starts to tremble. Just the tiniest amount, but nobody here misses it. Redbeard raises a trembling hand. All the control he worked so hard to regain fades in an instant. In a moment, he looks like a weak, harmless old man. He stumbles towards Protus, pointing a shaking hand at the necklace. Protus looks at Redbeard with pity. Redbeard says, that necklace, it is mine. I gave it for a reason. It is mine. I control it. Give it to me. Last chance, or it will choke you. The mood in the room changes in an instant. Someone laughs, then another, then all but you join in. It is unthinkable. A host of officials in Avadon laughing at the mighty Redbeard. Even Protus can't restrain a chuckle. Choke me? Oh, Redbeard, you thought you could catch me with that simple trickery? Our finest eyes examine this necklace. There are no spells on it. No, Redbeard says. There aren't. It was just a distraction. The laughing courtiers don't notice a new edge in his voice, but you do. But by then it is too late. Redbeard's weakness fades in an instant. He lurches forward with blinding speed. There is a cloud of sparks thrown up by Protus's magical shield. Redbeard lunged forward, a long needle in his hand. The shield blocked most of the blow, only the tip of the needle passed through it. It was enough. Protus looks down at the long red scratch on the back of his hand. Now Redbeard laughs. Protus stumbles back. The audience looks at each other, not sure what happened. And then the poison takes effect. Protus collapses to the ground, dead. Redbeard takes the gold necklace. All the spell on this did was keep it clean and shiny, and distract you. It did its job well. He says as he steps over the body, the end of another traitor. Then he comes face to face with the envoy from Hanvar's council. She tries to hide her fear. Redbeard speaks triumphantly to the envoy from Hanvar's council. There, your little crisis of leadership is settled. I have killed the keeper of Avadon. Thus, I am keeper. It is settled. Now get out of my fortress. The envoy looks around at the gathered hearts, eyes, and hands. They look silently back at her, but nobody moves. Decades of fear paralyze them. They look broken as if they never expected any other end. Redbeard stands still and silent, secure in his triumph. The envoy shouts, will none of you do anything? You will let this madman rule you again? They look away. Then Envoy Diran looks at you. Raylin, you are the only one I can ask. You are the last hope for the pact. So I will ask you, what? Of all assembled here, only you understand Redbeard enough to see what a threat he is. Only you are strong enough to defeat him. Redbeard smiles quietly, secure in his victory. I ask you, in the name of Hanvar's council, to please take Redbeard's place for the future of the pact. Why are you asking me? You now know Redbeard better than anyone here. His strength and weaknesses. You are also the strongest warrior here. You have a chance to change Avadon and the pact for the better. Please take it. I will consider. Redbeard waits silently. The envoy watches you. The audience has no idea what is going on. You take a step back, ready to think and make your final decision. Redbeard is confused by the delay. I don't know why the envoy is wasting our time. Tell her you support me and we can begin the work of repairing the pact. The envoy calls out to you. Raylan, for good or ill, we must settle this matter. I'm asking you in the name of the pact to replace Redbeard. Have you decided? I have a decision. Leans forward a little, even Redbeard. What have you decided, Hand? Redbeard is a true keeper of Avadon. I say he stays. A gas rises in the hall. The envoy is crushed. Redbeard looks triumphant. Envoy Vega says... Vega? I guess that's an oversight, because it's still supposed to be Deeren. But then again, if you kill Deeren, I guess Envoy Vega replaces her. So, yeah, that's definitely an oversight. Envoy Deeren says, but Redbeard threw your life away. He tried to have you killed. Twice, if reports are true. Yet you are still loyal to him. Why? How does he command such obedience from you all? Redbeard's plans ended the war. He is truly capable of doing the job. The envoy looks at Redbeard. The keeper looks smug. She says, he also helped cause this war. With his cruelty, his inflexibility. Are you a fool? Haven't you seen that? Redbeard cuts in. Enough out of you. You have lost, envoy. Raylan, you've made your decision? I have. Then I am keeper, once and again. You will all acknowledge it. Now. The hands, eyes, and hearts on you. Not being a fool, you do too. The envoy backs away, wondering if she will be able to get out of here alive. Redbeard says, this is a new, beautiful day. A day to rebuild. We will punish traitors. We will punish the Farlands. However, I will also show mercy. I will not punish anyone in this room, even though some of you desperately deserve it. Then he turns to you. Raylan, I have doubted you many times, yet you have proven yourself. I have business with you before we begin the great work of rebuilding. Yes. Your service was great. The hands who served under you will be given the authority they deserve. As for you, you need to be rewarded. I need to prove to those here that I am still a just leader. What post do you want, Raylan? Hand or eye? Heart or something else? I am wise and strong. I will be a heart of Avadon. A bold request. You are asking to be one of my closest advisors. A difficult job and a risky one. He looks down at the body of Protus. I am troubled. Your loyalty has shown many flaws. I can't trust you enough to give you such a vital post. Not yet, anyway. Choose something else. I wonder how we can become a heart, because that was my main goal, but I guess we didn't really tell Redbeard enough of what he wants to hear early in the game. Oh well. I care about knowledge, not battle. I would be an eye. You have traveled a lot. You know more about the lands of Linnaeus than you. You will be invaluable to me in that new post. I now declare you an eye, with the high rank to go along with it. That is settled. Now it is time. Time to announce our victory, to tell Avadon the glorious news, to rebuild the Black Fortress and the Pact, to get vengeance on our enemies, and to celebrate our hard-won peace. He claps his hands, the gates open. Follow, the age of chaos has ended. A new age will begin. Let us make sure it is a worthy one. Redbeard walks out of the hall. You follow right behind him. At last, as hard as it is to believe, it is time to enjoy your victory. Realm. Calm the Farlands. Little by little, you see the hands and eyes come to accept Redbeard's return. He is terrifying and brutal, true, but in a way they are familiar with. When he stops talking, they cheer. Of course, to maintain adequate loyalty, Redbeard quietly purges many in the months and years to come. It is in his nature. Like you, none are able to step up and challenge him. Redbeard is kind enough to include you in his speech. When he brings you up to stand beside him, the applause is deafening. You are hailed justly as a true hero of Avadon and the pack. As Avadon cheers, Redbeard gives you a look. His face is smiling, but his eyes are cold. You suspect that he, even now, suspects you of disloyalty. You're resolved to never try to eclipse his fame and power. He will always be watching. Redbeard also brings up envoy Diren to stand beside him. He swears a new relationship between Avadon and the pack, in which Avadon is more humble and grants Hanvar's council more power. Envoy Diren smiles and shakes Redbeard's hand, and nobody believes a word that is said. Avadon will stay true to his nature, the cold keeper of order. And then the speeches end. Feasts are had, casks of fine wine are open. The dungeons are quiet, the celebrating and carousing lasts for days. Not long later, the Farlands sue for peace. This is yet another great meeting, as the Pact and the Farlands negotiate peace. Redbeard is there, of course. You don't get to come. He has plenty of work to keep you busy. At the meeting, Redbeard is true to his nature. He is merciless. He makes sure that the Farlands pay dearly for their attack on the Pact. Centuries from now, Farlanders will speak Redbeard's name in a terrified whisper. He makes sure of that. Then hands are shaken, treaties are signed, there are yet more parties, parades, and celebrations. Then the true work begins. On their side of the border. In return, they are allowed to mostly survive. The Warborn rebellion comes to an end. Redbeard demands no less than total submission. The rebels are crushed. Never again will one of the Pact States declare itself above the law of the Pact. Little by little, the freedoms of the Pact States are lost to Hanvar's council in return for safety. None can ever agree if it was worth the price. As further corruption has stopped spreading and withdraws to its old borders, the Pact realizes how close it came to disaster, and it leaves well enough alone. There are no more monitor bases. It becomes illegal to enter the corruption, and this law is seriously enforced. None ever discover the truth about that mad land, its origins, or purpose. You ignore it, and it ignores you. The lands of the Warborn stay as they always were, a chaotic arrangement of tribes, alliances, and squabbles. They aren't severely punished. Being trapped together in their land seems like punishment enough. Yet some good does come out of the war. Your informal alliance with the Titans paid some fruit. Some of them turn out to be both powerful and sensible, and in time, a few Titan villages are allowed to take root in the Pact. As for the Taiwan Empire, the organizers of the rebellion, there is never any debate about their fate. They were the fiercest fighters against the Pact. They suffer the most vicious punishment. Temples are leveled, gods are slain, massive reparations are taken. The Pact's vengeance is vicious, total, and in the end, out of control. Nobody in Taiwan whispers a war against the Pact for 100 years. The work of peace is, in a way, even more tiring and full of despair than the work of war. In the end, however, the treaties are in place. The final heads have been chopped off. The final payments are delivered. Then that war-torn land. He is useful, so when Redbeard learns of his treachery, which was inevitable, the shaman is spared. Many thought that the rebels would never submit to the pact. In fact, thanks in part to Rudolph's help, a lasting peace is achieved. It is nothing short of miraculous. Somehow, the knowledge Nathalie obtained in Savar's Peninsula satisfies her. At last, she's able to believe in herself and concentrate on putting her great talent in the service of the pact. She settles in very well under Redbeard's rule. When she gets a mission, she carries it out without hesitation. Divide your time between Avadon and whatever lands need spies and observers at the moment. Redbeard comes to trust you, and he makes sure to stay valuable. Your missions tend to be in the far lands and other undesirable locations. You take satisfaction in doing much good for the pact. It is a long and storied career, leading to a peaceful and productive retirement. To your dying day, the young eyes come to you for advice and tales of the Age of Chaos. Then Linnaeus settles into peace. Damage is minted. Redbeard is efficient, sustained by whatever mysterious magic keeps him young. The chaos is slowly forgotten. None close to him ever forget that he was infected by the corruption. Redbeard manages, somehow, to keep this weakness in check. It is a good time. You spend years sleeping easily at night, no longer worrying about what disaster will greet you the next morning. All is calm. That is why it is such a surprise when, about 10 years after the end of the Age of Chaos, Redbeard is assassinated. 3 young, ambitious hands catch him unaware in the back hall late at night. It seems that he's exhausted and a bit drunk, and he doesn't have time to activate his defenses. They stab him several times, and he dies. You are largely spared in the purges and unpleasantness that follows. The new keeper, Briar of Kalimdariel, knows better than to challenge the great hero of the Age of Chaos. So, you are pushed gently off to the side, left to continue to be effective in your post. As long as you do your job, keep quiet, and don't try to change policy, you are left alive. It's a fair deal, and you take it. You enjoy the rest of a productive, reasonably happy life, and you die in your bed, and that is the end of your story. In time, all this passes into memory. Redbeard, Delesse, the Age of Chaos, you, and yes, even Avadon. Their stories are written down in gathered dust. Your tale, all the blood, sacrifice, and triumph, and this end serves to bore generations of school children. The world you pass on to them is both your gift and your curse. Your time passes. The young are left to love, fear, suffer under, survive in, and save once again the world that you made. The end. Okay, well, no joke. I actually really enjoyed that. I actually like that ending. I mean, it does suck that we can no longer see Kalita again, but at the same time, I'm still happy how that ended. That was a really good ending, I think. And I can't think of a better ending for that, to be honest. So, and the medals I unlocked, by the way, were Loyal to the End and also Hand of Avadon, Complete Avadon on any difficulty. The other ones I'll just get on my own time, including maybe taking over as Keeper. But yeah, I meant to stay loyal the whole time because it does fall in line with what I believe is that, you know, having power isn't everything. And I wanted what was best for my characters at the end, including for Raylan. So I actually do like the fate that she ultimately has and being able to eventually die peacefully while still accomplishing a lot. So I really do like that. And Yeah, it doesn't surprise me that somebody eventually off to Redbeard, but at least he does what he can to, uh, you know, help the pack at the end of it. So yeah, just some final thoughts. I really enjoyed covering this trilogy for you all, and I am very excited to finally move on. I'll definitely play these again on my own time, off screen, and make and see other choices. And I'm very curious to see how you can become a heart. I guess I was just not consistent enough in dialogue and stuff like this, so I have to look into all the choices and all that. But yeah, I also like the outcomes for all my companions there too. I mean, it does suck about Kalita never seeing her again, but because I really did like her character overall. And speaking of companions, I think overall my favorites in the first Avadon were Nathalie and Janelle for sure. Sevlin and Shima were okay, but I felt like their character arcs are pretty much the same. For the second Avadon, the only one I didn't really care for too much was Yannick. I liked the other companions a little bit more, and I wish I did take Alcander on more missions, but then again, I'm fine with just exploring it later, see what all the dialogue options are there, playing like different character types. And for the third one, I definitely like Selena the most. It was cool to see Nathalie and Kalita again, although I think that by this point they should have been promoted and we could have gotten new characters entirely, but that's alright. It was still cool to see them return and have them adventuring with us again. I originally was going to stick with just the new characters for my playthrough, but I ended up taking Nathalie more towards the end there. So yeah, I find that a very satisfying ending, honestly. And it does fall in line with what I was wanting to do. Like, I know they kept pushing, you know, for me to take over as keeper, you know, reform Avadon and all this other stuff, but it does, for me personally, it does fall in line with what I believe is that, you know, having that much power makes you a target and how it's not everything that's meant to be. I mean, you all know what I mean when I say that. And at the end of the day, I wanted the best outcome for all my characters, and I did get it in this, honestly. And in future playthroughs off screen, I'll definitely explore the other options and stuff like this, but I'm very satisfied by how that ended, honestly. Yeah, the war is over, and finally, I mean, I just didn't want my character ever be burdened with responsibility, even though in this one, compared to the other two, they do make a very strong case for why you should take over as keeper, but again, that having that much power is also a burden, as well as it is gives you a lot of wealth and power and responsibility, but it also is a burden, and ultimately I didn't want that, even though they did make a very strong case. So they did have a point, don't get me wrong. It's just that for my playthrough, I think choosing to stay loyal is best option. I just wish I was able to become a heart rather than an eye, but you know what, I'll take it. And there was some stuff I wish I was able to do. I mean, I really wish I was able to get to level 30 at the end, but not that it really matters. So probably in future playthroughs, it's probably best to go ahead and take some quests that you can otherwise reject in order to get to that level up. And maybe on future playthroughs, I'll also explore the battle skills trees for everybody, and then for the boosts and stuff like that, I'll just rely on potions and stuff. Because, yeah, that's pretty much what the utilities go. It's just buffs, pretty much, that you can easily get through potions, and the battle skills, I think, might have been more effective at the end, but oh well. So, yeah. I also wasn't expecting this series to be so short compared to Avernum. But overall, I still really like the game. I like this whole trilogy as a whole. I do think this one was the best one story-wise, but all of them are very solid. I guess my only regret was in the second game. I should have been a little more sympathetic, because my character was a conscripted. hand rather than someone, so I could have been a little bit more rebellious. And if you want multiple endings, then you should explore those options, even if it goes against what Avadon believes. So yeah, I probably could have done that in my playthrough there. Especially when it came to my companion that I had in that one, like at the very beginning. Because there is an achievement to romance the scout, and I just completely passed that by. But, oh well, but this is a playthrough anyway, so I'm not going to cover everything. So I hope you understand, and hope you understand why I made the choices that I did at the end of it. But overall, I'm very satisfied with the ending I got. And so yeah, I mean, I've said all I need to say. So with that in mind, I'm gonna call it for this playthrough. But it was really good to really cover this trilogy. Really awesome, and I can't wait to see you all with whatever I have next. Have a good one, everybody. But this was the Avadon trilogy with this last one, Avadon 3: The Warborn. I'll see you all for what I have next.